Last week, Brexit Secretary David Davis made a speech in the Austrian capital of Vienna, and sent a clear message to UK and the EU that, through common interests, we should remain strong allies and trading partners. These common interests highlighted throughout Davis's speech focused on one key area: regulation. Often, regulation acts as a kind of glue that binds countries together, no matter what their cultural or economic differences. Read more. Davis, Mad Max fears are wrong. It'll be a race to the top after Brexit since the UK voted to leave the EU. The financial and related professional services sector has been working to produce a regulatory framework that would retain the strength of London as Europe's global financial hub and would cause the least amount of disruption for people and businesses across the UK and the EU. The International Regulatory Strategy Group (IRSG) has been working towards these goals, while adhering to the negotiating team's red lines. The IRSG proposed a free trade agreement which would enable both sides to continue accessing one another's markets, based on recognizing each other's regulatory regimes. In simple terms, on the basis that we share identical regulatory frameworks, there should be no unnecessary trade barriers erected because of Brexit. As the UK leaves the EU, we might see our regulations diverge or differ slightly. In these scenarios, we would look to whether or not our outcomes, rather than word-for-word laws, are the same. You don't take the same driving test in Lille that you would in Leeds, but in each case, you are proving that you are a safe and competent driver. If you pass, you can drive on either side of the channel, the same outcome via a different route. The proposals also suggest ways to monitor the regulatory alignment between the UK and the bloc, in the form of a dispute resolution body, which would be made up of adjudicators from both sides. Should it be deemed that the UK strays too far away from EU regulation, it would lose access altogether. Unlike any other country, the UK is looking to secure an agreement from the exact same regulatory starting point as the bloc. Never before has the EU negotiated a trade deal with a country that has mirror-image regulatory coherence. Why should the EU consider this? First, London is one of the world's leading financial hubs. People and businesses across Europe rely on its deep pools of liquidity and capital. Second, the expertise and knowledge of London's financial sector cannot be replicated anywhere else in the EU. If London lost its prominence, overall activity in Europe would likely slow down and fragment, meaning higher costs for customers and potentially increased risk. Third, the UK is a significant importer of EU goods and services. Hampering trade would damage many small and large businesses across the continent. The UK is historically an ambitious nation. While the proposals put forward by the IRSG reflect this ambition, they are also achievable. But time is ticking. If we are to pursue this free trade agreement, which would safeguard jobs in the UK and the EU and ensure firms can continue to thrive long after Brexit, we need more clear commitments from the government, and soon. Read more. Liam Fox, UK must be a rule maker, not a rule taker, after Brexit.